This was crazy to watch as the Chicago Bulls take down the Boston Celtics in Boston tonight. We're going to be talking about the key takeaways from tonight's game. This is your host, Rico Greenhowe, and you have found yourself on another episode of Bulls Digest. And so today, the Chicago Bulls beat the Boston Celtics 117 to 108. And what a game it was for the Chicago Bulls. This was a complete team win led by Zack LaVine. We're going to be talking about just how good Zack LaVine was tonight because he played at an MVP level and there were several other players that really stood out. So let's go ahead and jump into the box score tonight. And let's start with Zack LaVine because if you were cold, all you needed to do was stand next to Zack LaVine because he was on fire tonight. He had 36 points. He had 4 assists. He had 6 rebounds. He was +8 in the box score as well. And I mean, he really had it going. I love the pace in which he played tonight. You could definitely tell that, he was just assertive enough, but he was still not in the way of other players to go ahead and let them take their opportunities. So I've loved that about Zack LaVine this season. And then just as far as his shooting is concerned tonight, look, 11 of 19 from the field. He also, too, was a 6 of 11 from downtown. And so, look, Zack LaVine was giving it to the Boston Celtics however they wanted it. He was taking it inside. He was taking it outside. He was hitting mid-range shots. He was all over the place. And so Zack LaVine led the way tonight. And this is something that I was wondering about coming into this game. I talked about this on the pregame show, just what type of approach was Zack LaVine going to have with all this trade talk and everything else. And look, I think that he came out and just put his foot on the gas. And look, if you want to trade for Zack LaVine, you just need to see this performance tonight. And so he was an MVP. Next up, I think the next MVP of the night, it was Ayo. And so the way that Ayo Dosunmu played tonight, 17 points, he was +17. He had 4 assists. He had 8 rebounds, 2 steals. He played, I think, very well tonight, knocked down some key three-point shots and big ones. But just Ayo and just his scrappiness. What about the rebound where he's on the floor just keeping numerous possessions alive? And so Ayo, I talked about him going into this game as well, just how he is going to respond once he gets a chance in the starting lineup. And this is why between him and Coby White, I never worry about them because their roles have always varied and they've found ways to figure it out. And despite the slow start for Ayo, he continues to come on strong right now. And he had a great game for the Chicago Bulls tonight. So next up, I think another MVP. We talk about him all the time. It is Vooch. And so Vooch played, I think, very well tonight. And he did it very efficiently because he didn't actually take that many shots tonight. In fact, he was just 2 of 3 from the three-point line tonight. He was 7 of 9 from the field. But more importantly, look, he had the 16 points, but the 14 rebounds today. And so Vooch was all over the boards. I talked about this going into the game because there was no Josh Giddey. It was going to be a team effort as far as going out there and getting rebounds. Vooch did a terrific job as far as doing that, and he really made the Celtics pay tonight every time that the Bulls were able to get it to him in the post tonight. And so I think that there were several opportunities that, the Chicago Bulls really left on the table. There was a bad pass by Zack LaVine, I think, in the third quarter where he hit Vooch in the foot with the pass. That's the worst pass that you can give to a big man is throwing it at his feet. And so that was one. But there were a couple different opportunities where I think that Vooch had a chance to really go to work, but he was super efficient tonight, and the way that he did that and just continues to lead the way for this team because when they need to get into a half-court set, he really settles this team, especially if we're struggling from the three-point line, and so that was great to see tonight. And then next up, I know he's not my MVP tonight, but Patrick Williams. Look, I don't know what it is that he had in the pregame meal, but this is the Patrick Williams that we want to see. I think at one point in time, Vooch had just 5 shots and Patrick Williams had 11. And I'm like, man, that's the aggressiveness that you want to see. Regardless if he misses the shots, just take the shots. And so I think with this offense, the way it's set up, it's perfect for him because he can go out there and he can just be a three-point shooter, which we know he can do that. No matter how you feel about his game and everything else, know he can knock down the three-point shot. And tonight, he knocked down some shots. He hit some big ones, 14 points tonight, 2 rebounds, 1 assist. He did a great job as far as shooting the basketball from deep, and that's what we want to see from Patrick Williams. And next up, Coby White. So, look, Coby White, again, he really struggled, in my opinion, tonight. 12 points. He had the 6 rebounds. He had 3 assists. He didn't have any turnovers, which was great. He was -3 in the plus-minus box score. And I think still the key takeaway, from Coby White and his performance is just that he continues he'll run on the fast break, and instead of taking layups or get to the free throw line, he wants to fade out to the three-point line, and that is something that Coby White just cannot do. I think that Coby White is going to have to find ways to get to layups, and he's also going to have to find ways to create some contact and get to the line. I think that one of the things that I've always heard about a player and when they're struggling is you need to just see the ball go into the basket, and one of the ways to do so is you have to go out there and get to the free throw line. So this is something that I think Coby White needs to do, but I still like the fact that he did hit some critical baskets down the stretch, drive into the lane. He's fearless, and so we do love that about Coby White, and it's no doubt about it. I think that at some point he is going to turn the corner on this slump. So next up, the bench. And so collectively, I think that the bench did a great job, and I just think that the key takeaway from the team is just energy. Like, they were just out there. They were scrapping. They were tipping the basketball around. They were making sure that they were on the ground, and then they would finally find a way for these 50-50 balls, and that's all we wanted to see from this team. And I think the bench really gave it to the unit tonight. I think that they came out on the bench here, and they gave the starters some good minutes when they were on the floor. And so with Jalen Smith, I know he didn't score a point, but the 6 rebounds tonight, he was scrappy and getting on the floor and keeping some possessions alive. So that was huge for us. And then with Modest Buzelis, he was still +1, even though he didn't score the 3 rebounds and an assist. And that's what I'm talking about with the scrappiness out there. It feels like they scored and they were a huge impact there, but it was so much activity that we got from the bench. And so THT, 9 points, 3 rebounds, an assist, and 2 steals. So he was 4 of 11 from the field, but still, it was his aggressiveness and just him continuing to really push the pace when starters were out that kept this team in it, because this game, it was close. It was really close, just like it was that game against the Celtics when we were at home in that cup game. But the difference was the Chicago Bulls just kept pushing. They kept pushing. They kept staying in the fight, and eventually they got it done. And the Celtics, well, really, they unraveled because they had a whole bunch of technical fouls and things like that down the stretch. And you could really just see the frustration with this team. But the Chicago Bulls just kept pressing the issue. And with Zoe still does his thing, comes off super effective tonight. Look, he was +10, 1 of 7 from the field, but he hit a good 3-point shot early on, 3 assists, 1 block. And then I love just the defensive effort. With him, Julian Phillips, that effort just collectively as a bench, I just cannot stress that enough, just with how well this bench played tonight. And Julian Phillips, 10 points, 5 rebounds, 1 assist, +8. Once again, you turn on the tape, scrappy rebounds, scrappy plays, tipping the ball out. I know he didn't shoot the basketball very well, but he was fearless when it was time for him to take the shots. And also, too, his ability to get to the rim, show a little bit of that athleticism. He had a nice play from THT. I think it was behind the back pass to him. He got it off the cut and he dunks it. And so now let's go ahead and jump into just the team box score and some of the key takeaways from that. So first and foremost, when you look at this, you see that the Chicago Bulls won in the rebound totals 56-45. And so that is huge. I just talked about the scrappiness of this team tonight, and that was the difference. The ability to go after those 50-50 balls, the ability to just show that you wanted it more, and that's why the Bulls get the win tonight. Next up, I thought that this was maybe the more interesting stat of the night as far as the team score is team box stats are concerned, and that is that the Bulls 12-4 we lead in turnovers tonight and we still win the game. And so, and that the Celtics got points off of those turnovers. I think that they had generated, I think, about 10 points off of those. And so still, with the Bulls and their struggles and the turnovers and things like that, still find a way to get it done against the Celtics here. And then as far as the points in the paint, the Celtics win that 44-42, but it was very close. The Chicago Bulls were right there. I talked about Vooch. I talked about how he was able to get it done in the paint for us, and so that was a big factor. Next up, just 23 assists tonight, but that's all right. I mean, still the willingness to pass the basketball. We'd love to see it get to 30 or whatnot, but the passes were there with a purpose, and so I think that the Bulls took advantage of the opportunities when they got their shots and things like that. As far as the steals are concerned, the Celtics were a bit more active tonight, 6-2 there. They also were a bit more active as far as blocking shots, 8-2 were the Celtics. And so when we look at the field goal percentage, the Bulls shoot 44.7% from the field, which is great. Then you look at the 36.5% from three, not bad right there. And so just staying with it, staying true to what they did, and eventually those shots fell for them. And then when you look at the Celtics and their field goal percentage, I think that really tells the story of the night, because this is a team that I talked about this before. They want to go out there and they want to shoot the three ball. Tonight, only 25% from three, and then just 39% or 39.2% from the field tonight. So that is the game today that is the game as the Chicago Bulls take care of the Celtics once again, 117-108. Huge game for the Chicago Bulls as, look, they do something that only 5 other teams have done this season, which is hand the Celtics, an L. And also, too, going into, I think, that final possession, the Chicago Bulls also almost gave the Boston Celtics their lowest scoring total until I think it was Peyton Pritchard who hit a three-point shot or something like that pretty much lifted their score up. But essentially, that's what the Chicago Bulls did tonight. And defensively, it all came down to the effort. And this is something that we want to see from this team. And so, quiet as it's kept, the Chicago Bulls are 5-2 this month. They're heating up. This is the first 3-game winning streak, and this was a season high for Zack LaVine, really getting it done. And I just cannot just harp on LaVine enough tonight, just the way that he responded. And I just think moving forward, regardless of what happens, just his response, the way that he's come in this year, the way that he's changed the narrative that's out there, because I just think that all that stuff now that we see and any other narratives that come up around him, I just feel like it's absolutely ridiculous, because with the way that Zack LaVine has responded, I just got to go out there and commend him for what he's done tonight. And so just want to go ahead and say, make sure that you hit that like and subscribe button out there. It means a lot to us as we try to reach our goal of 5,000 subscribers before we reach the end of the NBA season out there. Wanted to let you know about 8.3% of you that watch are not subscribed to the channel, so make sure that you go out there and you mash that subscribe button. And so, look, just a great win for the Chicago Bulls tonight. I still am going to preach the fact that the Bulls do need to get a direction, but it is always exciting as a Bulls fan to see this team win and to come up big against, one of the better teams out there in the NBA. And so a great win tonight. Let me know your thoughts. I'll see you guys on the next one. And as I usually say, go Bulls. I'll see you. Peace.